Welcome to Fantasia, home of the Melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys another post-duel commentary. This time, gonna be playing with my Ritual Beasts. So here, we have a phenomenal opening hand with Elder Rapengu, which allows me to get a search with Ulti Kanahawk for a Ritual Beast ambush. Then I'd have Strike, Steeds, and Ambush to back up my Ulti Pedalfin, which is what I would end up on, to act as another defensive barrier for me. But unfortunately, that entire plan was thrown into the garbage because my opponent summoned Thunder King Ryo, which could not only negate the summon of Ulti Kanahawk, but if he did let that go through, I wouldn't be able to search with him. Then he activates Terminal World, which means that both players cannot conduct their main phase 2. So if you enter your battle phase, and then after that, you cannot enter your main phase 2, you'd actually immediately skip to your end phase. So if you have the habit of setting things in main phase 2 and stuff, you gotta watch out. You have to set everything in main phase 1 before conducting your battle phase. But here I got lucky and I opened up with a Spiritual Beast Tamer Winda. And Winda is a floater in the deck, which means if she's destroyed by battle or by card effects, I can summon another Ritual Beast monster either from my deck or from my extra deck, and I can summon defensive walls like Ulti Pedalfin, or I could actually summon offensive beat sticks like Ulti Apelio or Ulti Gaiapelio. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, I did not set my Strike or my Steeds during main phase 1 because I'm actually very much into the habit of setting things in main phase 2. So, and because I was so rushed to try to get rid of that Thunder King Ryo, I actually kind of forgot to set my stuff. But, yeah. Anyway, I summoned the Ulti Apelio from my extra deck because when Ulti Apelio attacks, he is actually unaffected by all of the card effects. So, my opponent here flips the lose one turn, but it's not gonna do anything because I already declared my attack. So yeah, I was able to safely run over the Thunder King Ryo. Ulti Apelio, if the back row was a Mirror Force or anything like that, I would have been unaffected. So that's the reason why I summoned it over Ulti Gaiapelio, even though Ulti Gaiapelio is a bigger beat stick. But yeah, so here my opponent summons the Bro Hunter, and he's playing it. The deck that he's playing is a Thunder Stun deck, so if you're unfamiliar with that, they play cards like Denko Sekka, Thunder King Ryo, Lightning Rod Lord, and Zap Mustang, and those cards are all stun effects. They're basically floodgates within a monster, right? Like Lightning Rod Lord here, neither players can activate spell cards during main phase 1, but in conjunction with Terminal World, since I can't conduct a main phase 2, I just can't activate spell cards whatsoever. And if I was playing any other deck, this probably would have been pretty devastating, but because Ritual Beast actually, my build only plays like 6 spell cards, I believe, 6 or 7. Yeah, it's not really gonna hinder me much. So here I draw into the Spiritual Beast Kanahawk, so I decide, okay, you know what, let's try and go for some setup plays with the Kanahawk banishing some of my monsters from my deck. So normal summon the Elder, normal summon the Kanahawk, and then I fuse into an Ulti Pedalfin because I'm not sure what his back row is. I'm kind of scared there'll be a strike or a warning, and I don't really want to lose my Kanahawk at this stage because with lose one turn up, even if I make a Daigusto Emerald, I'd have to have her survive a turn before I could use her effect, and that's just too much hassle and too much of a worry, right? Especially because I know he has the Lightning Rod Lord, which can easily run over Daigusto Emerald's 800 defense. So here I just tested the waters with the Ulti Pedalfin, didn't go for the Ulti Kanahawk. But if I went for the Ulti Kanahawk now that defused, it wouldn't work because I'd have to return 2 cards from my Vanish Zone to the graveyard to search, and I can't defuse. And because lose one turns on the field, Ulti Kanahawk's effect would be negated, so I can't finish the search, right? But the thing is, Ritual Beast can easily play around that because once you use Ulti Kanahawk's effect to search, targeting the 2 cards you banish them to return to the graveyard, you can use your, you can chain the other effect where you return itself to the extra deck, and because it's not on the field anymore, it won't be negated by lose one turn, so you can resolve the search effect successfully. That's the reason why I actually played lose one turn myself in Ritual Beast. So, yeah. I end up summoning the Ulti Pedalfin in defense mode just as another wall. I can always defuse on my opponent's end phase safely and then go for my Ulti Kanahawk plays next turn because I'm pretty sure that face down is not going to be a strike, or else he probably would have used it by now. But yeah, here my opponent just goes for the Twin Twisters, discarding the Zap Mustang, hitting my Strike and my Steeds in the background. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I can't even chain the Steeds and blow up anything because he doesn't have anything on his field. So yeah, the last card, of course, we know in his hand is what he searched with the Bro Hunter, which is Lightning Rod Lord. And at this point, I've been grinding pretty well. Really, the window that I opened up with is carrying me very hard because I able to summon the Ulti Apelio. I'm pretty sure I would have been able to play out of this situation without it, but Winda definitely helped give me that upper hand. But for those of you wondering, I would definitely not play more than one Winda just because she has no effect when summoned, and cases like these where she actually comes in handy when you draw her are very, very rare and far and few between. So yeah, it's much easier to just banish her from the deck with Kanahawk and then summon her back when you defuse from your ulti Ritual Beast monsters. But anyway, he activates the Phantom Knight Sword and boosts his Lightning Rod Lord to 2600 attack, and of course he's not going to crash with my ulti Apoleo, even though he could protect his Lightning Rod Lord by just destroying the Phantom Knight Sword instead. Yeah, it's foolish for him to do so, and he's definitely going to wait for me to try to attack into him. Now, I could easily summon the ulti guy Pelio here, but he'd be switched to defense mode, and he has a pretty small defense, 2100 defense, and he would easily get run over by Lightning Rod Lord. So here I'm going for the ulti Kanahawk, and like I explained earlier, you can still search under lose one turn if you do what I'm doing now, just chaining Kanahawk's defuse effect to his search effect like this. So returning the Elder from my banished zone to the graveyard, and I can search a Steeds. Now, Steeds is going to be very important here because I don't want to lose my ulti Apoleo, nor do I want to lose any of my other monsters. So I'm definitely going to use that Steeds to destroy that Phantom Knight Sword that's attached to my opponent's Lightning Rod Lord and decrease the Lightning Rod Lord back to its original attack, right? So it'll lose that 800 boost from the Phantom Knight Sword. So here I use the Rapengu's effect, and I'm going to go and just banish an ulti guy Pelio to send another Tamer to my graveyard just to thin out the deck because I don't really need to draw into any anymore. I have so much monsters on the field. I have a really good setup right now. Now I go and fuse for the ulti Petalfin first because I have 2 copies in my extra deck, and you only really need one. The other's there to either banish with Rapengu, which I didn't need at the moment, and yeah, and just in case I want to use her to fuse for an ulti guy Pelio. Now, unfortunately, ulti guy Pelio is going to be put into defense mode because of the lose one turn, but that's completely fine. And as you can see, the terraforming I can't activate it because the Lightning Rod Lord and the Terminal World lock is on the field. Now, my opponent is going to be very tempted to attack into this ulti guy Pelio because 2100 defense, but I do have that Ritual Beast Steeds, like I said, to lower its attack so it can't attack over it, and then that would mean that I'll have 2 beat sticks on my side of the field, the ulti guy Pelio and the ulti Apoleo. Now, unfortunately, I could not go for additional searches with ulti Kanahawk to set up for a very nice hand, so ulti guy Pelio has multiple negations that he can use, but that isn't going to be too much of a problem because I banished Rapengu off of with Kanahawk from my deck about a turn ago. So during this next turn, I'll actually be able to add that Rapengu from my banished zone back to my hand, which gives me another negation, which is going to be phenomenal. So yeah, adding that Rapengu back, I made sure not to use that Rapengu when I was cycling through my cards, just because I knew that it was going to be added back to my hand, so that ulti guy Pelio will be guaranteed a negation if I don't draw into another Ritual Beast monster. So yeah, at this point, I'm going to attack with my ulti Apoleo into his Lightning Rod Lord, because again, ulti Apoleo is unaffected when he attacks, and then I'm going to attack the ulti guy Pelio. Now, of course, if his back row is a Mirror Force or something like that, I would just negate it by banishing the Rapengu from my hand, so that's no problem. I also keep the Brain Research Lab in my hand because, excuse me, there's no reason to activate it at all. It's better to give your opponent the fear of you possibly having 2 negations. Now my opponent just reveals his last back row, which is a Macro Cosmos. Absolutely worthless card against Ritual Beasts because Ritual Beasts just love that. You'd be doing them a favor if you're activating Macro on them. But yeah, anyway, he lets me just attack for a game, seeing it through to the end like a true champ. But anyway, that does it for today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Ritual Beast content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.